my channel. Hope you are all doing great. Thanks everyone for always coming back to support my channel. Thanks for watching my videos. I hope my tutorials are helpful. And today I'm going to be showing you a tutorial. I'm making a dress today. So I'm going to be showing you what the fabric I'm going to be working with. And also the style. Thank you. Okay everyone, so this is the fabric I'm going to be working with. It's this lovely African print fabric. That's what I'm going to be working with. I'm going to be using this polycotton for the lining. And this is the style I am making. I don't know if you can see clearly, but this is the style I am making. But I'm going to be doing a little changes to it. It's not going to be a cold shoulder. She doesn't want the cold shoulder, so I'm not going to be making it a cold shoulder. But this is the style I am going to be making with the African print. Okay guys, let's get started. So first thing first, you need the person's measurement as always. And of course you need a measurement tape, your chalk, scissors. I need my rulers. They are not here, but I have them, so we're here. So yeah, so we are going to do that. And also we are going to take the iron and remove the sticker. In one of my video I made a quick I showed how to remove the sticker using the iron to remove the sticker. I'll just show you again how I remove the sticker from the fabric. So you need a hot iron. This is my iron. This is my iron here. So you need your iron to be hot. I need the steam. So when the iron is hot, you just put the iron on top of the sticker with the steam. And then you peel it off. If it's not coming up, if it's not coming off, repeat the process. Just repeat the process until it comes off. So like this one now, it doesn't want to come up, doesn't want to come off. So you just repeat the process. Okay, see how easy that was? There's more stickers. You can see how easy that was. So yeah, that's how I remove my sticker. There's another one here, so I'm also going to take this one off. Hot iron with steam. You can see how very quick that came off. Okay guys, so this is the length of the fabric, as you can see. So in this style, you need all the full measurements. You need the bust, the waist, the hip, length of the dress, the sleeve length. You need all the complete measurements. Make sure you measure the person correctly so that when you finish the outfit, it fits them nicely. Alright, I'm going to fold the fabric and come back and show you what I'm doing next. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to first of all cut the lining, then I'll use the lining to cut the fabric. So what I've done is I've used the hip measurement to get the wideness of the fabric I want, and also I added 3 inches to the wideness of the fabric. And this fabric, this is the cotton, the polycotton, is on fold. It's on fold, as you can see. The other one, the back one, is on fold as well. So I've cut them on fold. The bottom one, which is this one I'm touching, is going to be the back. I've added 2 inches as well extra to the 3 inches, making it 5 inches, just to be enough for me to get a zip allowance as well, plus all the seam allowance I'm going to be adding. So this is my ruler. I've brought them out, so you need your rulers. This is the hip curve, and this one is you can use for your neck, for your armhole, for button size and other stuff. I got this from Amazon. It's a set. This one and this one came together as a set with a book, so I bought them together. So you need them. They are quite useful. I'm used to using rulers, so I always use rulers most of the time. So what first is the length of the dress is 55. So what I'm going to do is, because the dress is in a half part, I'll show you again. From the knee here, from the knee point, you got a joining, got like a flare here. Don't know if you can see it. So from the knee there, you got a joining. So I'm just using the measurement from the shoulder to the knee. So 55 minus the measurement from the shoulder to the knee, which is 39. So I'm going to be working from the shoulder to the knee. So that's the length I'm going to be taking down on the fabric. Okay, so I want 35 length. This here is more than 35. So I'm going to be measuring 35. You need a measurement tape and you need your chalk. So first, what I do as a guideline, I measure 1 inch on the top here. That just helped me as a guideline. But before I do that, let me see if the fabric is long enough or if it's too long, because I would like to use the selvage edge for the knee section so I don't overlock it. So let me just check. Okay, so this is more than 39, this is 44. So I'm going to come down and just get the 39 plus 1 inch guideline, 40. Okay, so this is 40 here. So I'm going to start my guideline from here. Just mark 40 all the way. Okay, so I've marked 40, so I'm just going to draw a straight line with a chalk. Okay, so from here now, I will mark 1 inch down. So that will be my guideline. The 1 inch down will be my guideline. Or I could just leave it at the 40 because I need half an inch to sew it at the bottom point here and half an inch to sew it at the top. So I'm just going to leave it without coming down. Okay, so the next thing you need to do now is the shoulder measurement, half of the shoulder measurement. I'm going to be doing a full tutorial on how to take a measurement very soon, so you will know how to take your shoulder measurement. So now you need half of the measurement for the shoulder. So the shoulder is 16, so half of it is 8. So you mark down 8 here. And then also you need the length of the armhole. So the length from the chest, that is from your shoulder to where the armhole starts from, or the bust point, the bust starts from, on top, just on top of the bust here, like this. Okay, so it's 9. So I'm going to mark down 9. So that's like the length of the armhole length from the shoulder to where it starts. So it's 9. Everybody is different. Some people is 8, some people is 7, some people is 9.5, some is 10. If you have a more bust, if your bust is more than let's say in the region of 47, between 46 upward, I think 10 will quite be alright. So I'm going to be using 9, and I just take my ruler and draw a straight line. Okay, so from this 9 point, I'm just going to draw a straight line across, like so. So that's the shoulder. This is half of the shoulder from here to here, half of the shoulder. From there to there is the length, the shoulder, the armhole length from here to here. Okay, so now we're going to mark down from the shoulder to the bust point. So make sure you take this measurement. Sometimes you can guesstimate where the shoulder, where the person's bust point can be, but it's always advisable to take the measurement of it. So the bust point I'm going to be using today, I'm going to be using 12. So the shoulder to the waist is 19, so I mark that 19. And then the shoulder to the hip measurement is 29. So you need to make all this you need to take all these measurements because it's a straight dress from the top to the knee. So you need to take the measurement from the shoulder to the knee, from the shoulder to the knee, the shoulder to the hip. So you know where the hip stop. But in case you forget, you can measure from the waist to the knee. So you'll get it. In case you forget to take the shoulder measurement from shoulder to knee, you can start from the waist to the knee if you have the measurement of the person from the waist to the knee. If you have it. So this is not the knee, this is the hip. So this is the shoulder. All the way there is the hip. The shoulder to the knee is the length of this fabric. So the whole length from here, where the chalk mark is. I'll put the fabric up a bit. So it's from here all the way to the end of the fabric here. That's the person's shoulder to knee. And from here to here is the shoulder to hip. From here to here is the shoulder to bust point. From there to there is the shoulder to waist of the person. Okay, so I'm going to see if I need the pieces on the bust. So I'm just going to mark the pieces on the bust down as well. So that shoulder to on the bust is 16. I don't really need this measurement, but I like to just mark it down just to give me, just to make me know where everything is. Okay, so now I'm going to be taking the circumference, the roundness of the bust, the roundness of the hip, roundness of the waist, the upper bust. So okay, so the person's bust measurement divided by 4. So your bust measurement divided by 4. And then you take your measurement tape, you mark it down from where the bust point starts from. You are going to connect it to the armhole later. Okay, so I'm just going to take the person's under bust measurement as well. It's not necessary, I'm just putting it down. So under bust measurement divided by 4. So your under bust measurement divided by 4. I'm using a calculator, as you can see. So your under bust measurement divided by 4. Just mark it down. So your waist measurement divided by 4. Okay. And then you mark it down as well. Okay, so now this is the hip measurement because I measured the person from hip, from shoulder to hip was 29. Okay. Was 29. So now I'm going to be marking the hip measurement there. So your hip measurement divided by 4. And then you mark it down. Okay, so from this point you just draw a straight line down. But what I normally do in order to give the person a proper fitting at the knee, I normally come in by 1.5 inch. But before I do that, I connect all the points together first. Let me just connect all the points together with the ruler. And then I will also add my seam allowance as well. So I use my ruler to connect all the points first. Okay, So, and then you also connect this to the armhole here. Don't forget I haven't had a seam allowance yet. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw this one all the way down. Just a straight line down first for now. Okay, so that's a straight line down. And then so what we are going to do next, I'm going to be adding the seam allowance. So I'm going to be adding 2 inches seam allowance to the bust. So I extend that 2 inches up to the armhole point there. And I'm also going to be adding 2 inch I'm going to be adding 2 inches seam allowance to the underbust. Really, I don't want so much seam allowance on the underbust, so I think I'll add just 1.5 inch seam allowance to the underbust. To the waist, I'm going to be adding 2.5. I'm going to be adding 2.5 allowance because I'm going to be putting a dart, but at the same time I'm thinking of adding 3 inches because I need 1 inch for the dart. So I'm going to make it 3 inches, which is here. So I just connect it nicely to the bust. I use freehand, you can freehand it. Okay, so for the hip, I'm going to be adding 2.5 inch. I don't need so much allowance for the hip. Okay, so I'm just going to connect the hip to the waist measurement here. I use my hip curve ruler so I can get a nice line. You can even just use a straight ruler if you don't have a hip curve. Just use a straight ruler as long as you get the measurement right. But I like using my hip curve because it's quite nice to use and it gives me the shape I want very well. Okay, so from here I'm just going to draw a straight line for now. I draw a straight line. That's the seam allowance. Okay, so before I work with the bottom part, let me work with the top part first. So on this style, it has like a little keyhole on the neck. It got like 1, 2, 3 keyholes on the front there. Okay, so I'm not going to be cutting the keyhole too big because the person doesn't want the keyhole to be too much. But before I cut the keyhole, I'm going to cut the neck first, the round neck measurement. So for our shoulder slope, we come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. And then I'm going to be using 4 inches, the wideness of the neck. I'm going to be using 4 inch. And then for the depth of the neck, because looking at the style, it's not very low. It's not that low. The neck is not very low, so the back is a V-neck. You see the back is a V-neck. So I'm going to be using 3.5 for the depth of the neck. For the back, I'm going to come down a bit more. I'm going to be using 7.5 to achieve 8 inch for the back, the V-neck. So I've marked it now, so that's for the front, that's for the back. Okay, so this is our shoulder slope. I came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. So I take my ruler and just connect it, the 1 inch to the 4 inch wideness of the neck. Okay, so from here, I'll look for the midpoint of this remaining 8 here, which is 4. But you can measure it so you can get the midpoint. So you take your ruler, you take your curved ruler, like mine. You just align it properly, correctly. And then I'm just going to draw to connect to the armhole. Just use the shock and connect it to the armhole. Okay, so that's our armhole with the seam allowance. Normally I tend to add 2 inches seam allowance. I know you should add only ½ inch seam allowance, but when you're making African clothes, especially with the African print and its African style, it's always advisable to add seam allowance, extra seam allowance, just in case the person had some weight. You can easily extend it to fit the person. But if you had only the ½ inch seam allowance and the person come and try it on and it happens they've had weight, you won't be able to do anything much to it. So it's always advisable to add at least maybe 1½ inch, 2 inches or 1 inch extra allowance, just to be on the safer side. So that is why I always had allowance. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come back to the down here now. Let's put this up so you can see it. So this is the knee section. So I'm going to come in by 1½. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing down here. I'm coming in by 1½ here. So this is 1½. If I remove the measurement tape, you can see the 1½. I'm just going to connect it to the hip. So I take my hip curve and I connect it to the hip. That's because I want the person to have a nice coil shape at the knee, so I connect it to the hip. Okay, so that's all the measurement mark done. So the next thing you need to do now, I'm just going to pull it down. So the next thing now is to cut it out. Once I finish cutting all this out, then I'll cut the back neck first, the V-neck first. Before I cut it, forgot to mention, you need a ruler to draw your round neck. Just want to get the round neck out of the way. Sometimes I go a bit more than the 4 inch. In this case, I'm going to do that. I'm going to just let the ruler guide me to see if I can get the roundness the way I want it. And it's giving me like about, it's giving me like ½ inch more. So I'm going to be taking out ½ inch more for the wideness of the top, the front section of the dress. And if you look at the style, it's quite wide on the shoulder as well. So I've taken in, instead of 4, it's now, let me quickly just measure it. Yeah, it's now 4½.1. So that will give me a nice round edge. So it looks similar to the one on this, on the book, on the catalog. Okay, so that's the front. This here is the back. The back is a V. The back is a V. I'm going to cut the back once I cut everything out. So I'm going to cut everything out now, so you can see. Okay, so I've cut everything out. I'm just going to notch here where the neck stop, because I'm going to remove the back, the front from the back. So I've removed the front from the back. I take my ruler and I'm going to be drawing a V shape So I'm just looking for where I notch. This is where I notch here. So from that point, I just want to connect the V. I might have to come down a bit for the V because on the catalog it looks like it's more down. So I'm going to measure 9. I'll come down by 9. So I'm just going to connect it again. So at the end of the day, I will achieve 9.5. Okay, so that's what I have done now. I've marked the V shape. You can see it like this as well. Okay, so I've cut it out. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3. So I've cut it out. So I decided to cut the ends one opened so I can use the bias to turn it. So it's more obvious because I think they use the bias to turn it on the picture. I think they use the bias to turn it there. So I'm going to use the bias to turn it. Okay, so that is the front of the dress. So what I'm going to do now is I'll take this. I decided not to cut the front, the middle one, the centered one. How will I call it? Middle, center, I don't even know what to call it now. But I decided not to cut this one opened. I decided not to cut this one open. I'm just going to connect it with the bias like so to the other end, to this point there, from there to there. So that's the shoulders. Okay, so I'll take this. Let me fold it back so you can see how it looks like. Before I open it, let me see and show you how it looks like. So this is how it looks like when it's not opened out. You've seen when I open it out already, so I don't need to show you that anymore. Oh, and this is the bit I cut off from here, and this is the other bit I cut off from here. So I cut them out. Okay guys, so now I take this and cut it on the fabric, and then I'll come and show you how I cut the flare section, which is the knee part, and also the flare sleeve. Stay tuned. Okay, so alright everyone, I'm going to cut the bottom part of the dress now, the flare part. So what I've done, I have folded the fabric into a triangular shape. You can see the triangle on this side. So I've folded it into a triangular shape because if I'm to cut it in a form of a circle, complete circle, I might not get the length I want. So I've added 2 inches to the length. The length is 16, but I've added 2 inches for sewing allowance from the top and the bottom. So to get the widening, because on the style it got like a pleat at the front of it. So what I've done is I'm using the hip measurement to get the openness, the wideness of the flare. So what I do is that the hip measurement divided by 4 plus 7 inches. So it gives me the wideness I want because I'm going to be pleating the front of the flare. So all I do is folded it into a triangle shape, triangular shape. Your hip measurement divided by 4 plus 7 inches if you are pleating the front, because I'm pleating the front of this one and the back, plus 7 inches. I'm only pleating the middle, that's like just the center front and the central back. I'm pleating there. It's quite obvious on the style, so I need enough allowance to pleat it. I'll quickly show you so you can see what I'm talking about. If you look at the back of the, don't know if you can see it very well, there's a pleat there, and I needed enough fabric to go in to really give me to define the pleat. It's also in the front as well, so that's why I'm adding 7 inches to it. And then of course the length plus 2 inches, so everything is 18. So I've already folded it out. All I need to do now is cut it out. So I'm going to be cutting it out. going to be using this part for the sleeve. I'm just cutting it out. Okay, so I've cut it out. So I'm going to, you can see I've cut it out. You can see the shape of it. Okay, so I'm going to be pleating here. I'm going to be pleating it in like that. Okay, so I'm going to take this one and cut another one. This is just one piece. This is just one piece. So I'll take this and cut another piece because I need two pieces, one for the back, one for the front. So I'll cut another one. Then I'll come back and show you how to cut the flare sleeve. Okay everyone, I'm going to show you how I cut my flare sleeve now. So what I have done, I have folded the fabric in triangle shape again. If you can see what I've done here, I'm just clearing the table so you can see properly. So I have folded it into a triangle shape. Can you see the triangle shape there? I folded it into two, so practically into four. Let's say this is 1, 2, and there's another 2 there. I haven't cut this one opened. So because it's 2 pair of sleeve, this is the fold edge. The sleeve has to be cut on the folded. The front of the dress has to be cut on the folded. Everything has to be cut on fold. Apart from the back. The back you can use 2 pieces to join the back, but I prefer to always cut everything on fold. It's quicker, easier that way. So this is the fabric I'm going to be using, the amount of fabric. This is what I've remaining after I cut the bottom part. The little leftover, I didn't want to waste the other one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start with the length of my sleeve. The length of the sleeve is 12. I need 1 inch to turn it at the bottom. So I'm going to be measuring 13 altogether. So I can decide to start at 13 from any point. So that's 13. As long as I get it to flare the way I want. So I'm going to mark 13. And this will just be a guideline. The top here will be a guideline. I'll get my ruler. So I'm just going to use the straight edge of this part of the ruler. I just want to draw a straight line. That's a guideline. So just a guideline. Okay, so from this guideline here, I'll measure 13. So I'm measuring it in the form of a flare, if you can see what I'm doing. I'm not just measuring it straight, I'm measuring it in the form of a flare, so it can give me the flare shape that I'm looking for. You can actually cut this one in the form of a circle, but I prefer to cut it this way because I don't want to waste all the fabric. So I'm just cutting it this way. So I'm still measuring 13 to, I don't want it to be too over big flare. She doesn't want it to be too much, but it depends on you. So anyway, I end it here. So I'm ending my flare here. So it's quite a big flare already at the bottom. So at the top part here, which is the guideline here, just see if that is up to 13. Okay, I'm going to go up a bit. That's not exact 13. Let's see if that is up to 13. Yeah. Okay, so from this very top here, I'm going to come down by, this is the quickest way I cut my sleeve. There's a quick, if you want to find out your biceps, you just divide your bust by 12. So I divide a bust by 12, and it's giving me 4, so it's 3.9 something, so I just put it as 4. So at this point here, at the top of this, let me see how many inches here I marked. Okay, so I've marked 7 here. So from this point here, I'm going to come down by 4. This is how I cut my sleeve when I'm cutting a quick sleeve, when I don't want to waste my time cutting sleeve. So I come down by 4 here, and I'm just going to freehand it, or you can use your ruler if you want to use your ruler, but I'm going to freehand it. Let me move it closer so you can see how I freehand it. So I'm just going to freehand it from this point to this point here, like so. So I'm coming down, trying to form the head of the sleeve. When I get to this point here, I come out. So this is it. So from this point, I freehand it to the top there. So I stop, I just come down a little bit, like half an inch from this point. I came down just like, so that would be like 4.5. I came down a bit. So I'm going to take my measurement tape and measure it to see if the sleeve opening is exactly what I want. Let's do it like this so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm measuring from this point here. I'm just measuring it around just to see if it's okay for the sleeve opening that I want. Okay, so this is 10.5, but I want 11. So at this point here, I'm going to now draw a bit more. I just had a bit more to it, like so. Let's see how many I added to it. So from this point here, which is the 4, I'm just going to measure how many I added. So I added 2 inches extra because I want the head of the sleeve, the overall measurement of the head of the sleeve, to be 11 or 12. So I'm measuring it again now. Okay, so now it's giving me 11.5, which I think is fine. So I'll connect this point. You can use your ruler to connect it. I need a straight ruler. I'm using a curved ruler, but I'm just going to use this. I'm just going to just draw it out. Okay, so I'll measure how much the wideness of the bottom, the flare. Let's see how much I make it. Okay, so this is 15. So the wideness of the flare is 15, which is quite a lot of flare. But if you don't want it to be too much, what you can do is, instead of coming down 4, you can come down a bit more, so that I don't cut it this way. If I want to cut it a bit, I can come down by 5. I'm going to do a video tutorial on this. So instead of coming too wide here, I'll come down like this. So the head of the sleeve is a little more curvy. So I'll measure it again if that gives me the measurement I want. So I use my measurement tape and I just measure it around. Okay, see, that gave me 11.5, which is good. So I'm going to use this one. I won't use this one here. I use this one. So all I did, I just came down from the guideline. I came down by 5 inch. Instead of a normal 4 inch, I came down by 1 inch more. And then from the beginning of the sleeve, the length, I just freehand it like this to meet the 5 inch down here. So from there, you probably need a straight ruler, but I'm just using this one. And then you can reduce from there. You can reduce the flare a bit. See, you can see the flare has reduced quite a lot. Can you see that? Probably almost like 1.5 inch reduced. So I've reduced it. yeah, by 1.5 inch, which is okay. So that's fine. So all I need to do now is cut it out, and that's the sleeve. That's how I cut my flare sleeve when I'm cutting it quickly freehand. But I will make a video tutorial on a proper how to cut a proper flare sleeve, different variation of sleeve. I'm going to make a video tutorial. I don't know when, but I will. When I do, I'll post it. You'll see it. So, but this is just my quick way of cutting my sleeve if I don't want to cut pattern. So there's the book. My last video I made, I show you some books I use for my pattern making. So I'm going to be cutting the sleeve pattern from that book, and I will show you when I get to that video. So I'm going to cut it out. You can see the shape already. Okay, so that is the shape. Oops. Let me close it back so you can see it properly. Okay, I just close it back. That is the shape. Don't know which way to turn it. That's the shape of my flare sleeve. I open it so you can see it. So that's how it looks like. So I'll sew here, I'll sew there and there, because I'm not doing a cold shoulder. So when I sew here to here, so should we have not too much of a flare. So I'll sew here first, sew here together first. If you want more flare, as I say, you just extend this. I sew here together first, then I sew the head, I sew it to the cloth, and that will be the flare opening. Okay guys, so this is the sleeve. I've cut it. I've also cut the front of the back. I've cut the front of the back. I've cut the bottom part. I'm not putting a lining on this one. This is the bottom part. I've cut 2 pieces. That's one. That's another one. So this is the end of, I've cut a bias for the neck, for the front neck. Remember the front neck? So I can use the bias to turn it. Alright guys, so this is the end of this video tutorial on how to cut the style I'm working with, which is a flare. We call it fit flare. So it's fitting around the body here, and from the knee it flares out so the person can move freely. So this is the style, but I've done a bit of alteration to the style. It's not a cold shoulder, it's a normal flare, cold shoulder, a normal flare sleeve. In order for the sleeve not to be too fuller, I've reduced the volume of the flare, because on the picture you can see it's not a really huge flare. Okay, so I'll sew it. When I finish sewing it, I'll show it my own version to you. So my version is going to be a bit different from this one, because it's not going to be having the cold shoulder and the elastic on the top of the sleeve there. But anyway, that's the style I'm sewing. So I'll show you my own version when I finish sewing it. So I'll show you how to cut it, and when I finish sewing it, I'll put the picture of it as well. Okay everybody, so this is my own version of the dress. I finished making it. I've ironed it. I'm just doing a little video before I take the picture to show you guys. Okay guys, hope I tried. This is my own version. Remember, the style has a cold shoulder. The person doesn't want a cold shoulder, so I have to put a proper full flare sleeve. So that's the flare sleeve. I've also put a bust dart just to give them a bit more shape here. So this is the neck that I cut earlier, and the person doesn't want it too low, so I've cut it just there so that when they put it on, it's not showing any cleavage. So that's the dress, and the bottom of the dress, it has the opening flare. When she walks, this will open out, and I'll turn it around so you can see the back. So that's the back of the dress. That's the back of it, all the way to the floor. Okay, that's the back of the dress. So it's a V-neck, and I've taken the darts up to give it more fitting. Yeah, here's the zip. I've stitched the zip in a way that is hidden, so you don't see it outside, you only just see the puller. So the zip is there. Pardon my background. I got some sewing stuff on the background. Pardon it, please. Just wanted to show you the finished outfit. Okay guys, thank you all for watching. If this video was a help to you, please like, share, comment and subscribe. And you can share it to your friend. It's free. It's free also to subscribe, guys. Very free. Don't forget to click the notification bell so that whenever I put a video up, you'll be the first to be notified. Thank you very much. I didn't do a video of where I sew it. I only do a video of where I cut it. I didn't have enough time to do the video of where I was sewing it. But I hope the cutting will be helpful to you guys. Thanks a lot. I'll see you in my next video, or you see me in my next video. Thank you. Bye.